Freeze for a minute, Wilbur, and because I'm gonna come over there, okay?
Okay.
Just freeze.
Was your assistant?
Good afternoon, Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. I'm here in Hillside, but in honor of Newark. Hillside is a sister city right next door to Newark, and I'm sure the mayor of Hillside would mind me saying that Newark is a sister city, because Newark is on the move. And because Newark is on the move, all other cities around her will prosper because of Newark on the move. But my story today is about a man that transcends time, a man that's a motivator, an activist, a reverend at times, a helper and a steward, a great steward in the community. I want to introduce you to no other than Wilbur Ross.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Today we're going to talk about the life of Wilbur. Wilbur, where will we start?
We can start at the beginning.
Hey, let's go to the beginning. You come up in Newark, New Jersey.
I was born in May
Okay.
May 6, 1954.
Bring your voice up.
Coming up to be 70 years old soon.
All right.
My mother and father were very educated people.
Sure.
My father was a world-class athlete.
Okay. And what was your father's name?
Wilbur Ross.
Wilbur Ross Jr. Senior.
Wilbur Ross Jr.
Oh, you did Wilbur
I'm
Ross
Ross
the third.
III.
Okay. Okay.
And
What kind of work did your mother do?
she was a teacher.
So
A master teacher, not just a teacher. Master teacher.
So she went to teacher college.
She went to Winston-Salem Teachers College
Okay. Okay.
in North Carolina.
Now say that again, because I want someone to hear what I'm talking about. She went to Winston-Salem Teachers College.
Right.
Okay, that makes her a master teacher. When she goes for a job, she get.
Well, she did.
Right.
You know, she was. My father was a track coach at Winston-Salem Teachers College.
Okay.
And he got the job the year that I was born.
1954. So Wilbur, you know, I don't like to touch on this, but I guess I will.
Touch.
Wilbur, you were raised in Newark. You were raised middle class.
Yeah, what we call silver spoon in your mouth.
Well, that's middle class.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't want for nothing.
I did.
What?
Because, my mother and father, they separated.
Okay.
Divorced.
Okay.
I wanted to be around my father more than anything.
But you still maintain a middle class life.
Oh, yeah.
I think you got a.
Well,
One time you told me you got a Cadillac at 18 years old.
No, I didn't have a Cadillac. My mother had the Cadillac.
Okay.
But I had first car I had was a Rambler.
Okay.
Push button.
Rambler. Who made that? Was that AMC?
It might have been. I'm not sure. That's so long ago. I got that from a teacher that was at Weequahic High School.
Okay. And when you went to Weequahic, it was part white, part black?
No.
What was it?
It was basically a black high school.
And what year was that?
70, 71, 72 season.
I thought at that time.
72, 73 season.
Okay.
So I stayed in Weequahic for 2 years.
Okay.
But before Weequahic, my mother wanted me to go to a school called Seton Hall Prep.
Okay.
So I went to Seton Hall Prep for a year, but it was a disaster for me because I really didn't want to be there.
Okay.
And I had to go to summer school day and night.
Just playing around.
I was messing up. But then when I left there, I went to a school in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And the school in Massachusetts was called Lenox Prep.
High school.
It's a high school.
So
Prep school.
Now, was your father in Massachusetts at that time?
No.
How you?
My father was in Cherry Hill.
So how did you manage to go to Massachusetts school? Was it private school?
My mother, after I didn't want to go back to Seton Hall, my mother let me go to Weequahic. And somebody got stabbed in the playground with a chainsaw.
Okay.
She said, you're leaving here. I'm like, Mom.
So when you went there, were you staying on campus at that school, or were you?
Oh, in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
It was a boarding school.
Oh, boarding school. Oh man. Yeah, that was new for black folk back in that time.
Man, you don't know.
Wasn't no black folk in that boarding school, was it? Was it many?
No, it wasn't that many. It was about 4 or 5 of them.
That's right. Back in that time.
Yeah.
That was a different day.
Yeah. And
Not because of racism or anything like that, but because of the economic thing and us coming into understanding the gist of, sending a kid actually to boarding school,
Now, the funny thing about it was in 1968, my mother took me to Hawaii. Black families back then didn't go to Hawaii. Well, she took me to Hawaii. We stayed about a week.
Wow.
It was fantastic. As I got older, let's go back to Linux.
Okay.
People don't realize who I met, who I wanted to meet at that time, but I knew about him.
Okay.
His name was Julius Irving.
All right. Okay. Dr. J, ain't that?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Dr. J.
What happened was my teammate came to my room, kicked my door. He said, "Well, I seen somebody jump higher than you," and I jumped up. I said, "Where's he at? I want to meet him." You know why I wanted to meet him? Now I'm only a sophomore in high school at that time.
And this is at the high school?
At the prep school.
Prep school, okay. In Massachusetts.
Right. And the reason why I wanted to meet him was because if I had met him, I would have said, let's play one-on-one. See, when I was a sophomore.
Dr. J, well.
Yeah, I was averaging 28 points a game as a sophomore. And I was playing against guys that had already graduated high school. They went back for an extra year. And I was a young guy who was exploring.
So did you graduate from the prep school?
No.
Okay.
That's when I came back to Jersey and went to Wheatburg High School.
Okay.
And the reason why I went there was because one of my mother's, her boyfriend was Tom Davis. And Tom told me, come on, you can go back to Wheatburg. Because he influenced her to let me go back to Wheatburg.
Okay.
But see, I wanted to go to Wheatburg for my freshman year.
Okay.
If I'd have went my freshman year, we probably won 4 straight championships.
Okay.
And, it came to be where I played on a team where we only lost 2 games my junior year.
Wow.
And then my senior year, we lose 3 games. So in the 2 years that I was at Weequahic, we only lost 5 games. And in the senior year, we lost 3 games by 4 points.
Okay.
Central by 1, Grover Willow. Eastside by 2, and then Central by 1.
Okay.
Then we turned around and won a state championship. Group 4 state championship.
What year was that?
73.
1973. So, all right. From Wheatburg, you graduated from Wheatburg?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go off to college then?
Yes, I did.
What college did you go to?
University of Detroit.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting it. And why did you pick that school?
Well, there was a crazy guy named Dick Vitale.
Okay, we've talked about that.
And Dick, well, he was dating me in a sense, and he asked me to come out there and help him build.
Now you got to explain that when you say dating you.
Well, I mean recruiting me.
Recruiting you, okay.
Right.
Yes, you got to say it that way.
Well, let me tell you one thing. When you're dealing with these kids today, you really gotta spend a lot of time if you want them to come to your school.
Right.
So he was very positive. He was a little weird at that time, but one of my neighbors said, "Do you remember when Dick came to your house and he laid on your front lawn?" And I'm like, I'm thinking. Then I say, "Yeah, I remember that." He wanted me to come to his school bad.
He came and laid on your front lawn in
On
Newark.
on Keir Avenue.
Wow. He was a serious recruiter.
Oh, he was recruited, but I liked him because he was a little crazy, and I'm like, this guy might be real important.
Sure. Okay.
Go ahead.
So let's go. All right. Now, we're with Dick now, and you're in college, and that's what we're really here to talk about.
Well, yeah, I went there, and I was doing my thing, and it would get to the point where, why did you bring me to Detroit, and you sit me on the bench? I've never sat on the bench in my life. Okay. He sat me on the bench for a guy who he didn't even recruit him, but he put him on the floor before me.
So why do you think he did that?
Well, he said, of course, experience.
Because the guy had more experience.
Yeah, but let me tell you one thing. I'm the type of cat that don't let his team lose.
That's right.
See,
Okay.
I'm not just I'm a coach on the floor along with being a player.
So you really into the game?
I love the game. I love the game.
I think there was a guy from the Knicks that was like that, the light-skinned guy from years ago. What was his name? Had a big
Paul
mouth.
Frazier?
No. This way he was about maybe 20 years ago. That guy used to be arguing all the time.
No, I didn't argue. I didn't argue. I just
But he
played.
he was serious. Some of the guys are like that. They're emotional out there.
Yeah. Well,
You know.
I was a motivator. Like you said at the beginning, I was more than just a basketball player.
Right.
Now, what happened to me was the reason why I went back after I got hurt was I tore my Achilles.
Okay.
75.
All right.
I had Alvin Addles had come to the school after the season was over. He said, "I'm going to draft you." I said, "Okay, Al."
Draft you to what
No,
team?
not after the season. During the time that they were running they were trying to get that world championship.
Okay, gonna draft you for the pros.
Right.
And what team?
The Golden State Warriors.
Okay. And where are they playing?
California.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
And he said, "I'm a draft you." I said, "Okay," but I wasn't thinking about going to the pros. I was getting ready for my junior year, and we were in the gym playing, and I made a move on the floor, and I tore my Achilles. And I told my teammates, I said, "I sprained my ankle," but it wasn't my ankle; it was an Achilles tendon tear. And during that time, there was no such thing as sports medicine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
75, there was no such thing as sports medicine.
So
It was embarking that next year they started dealing with sports medicine.
Right.
But during the time that I tore my Achilles, there was no sports medicine.
They didn't have the doctors right there and
Right.
like that. Okay. So you had to go to a
So
regular
now
hospital.
I go to, after I tear the Achilles, we call Dick, and Dick then sent me to a specialist in Trenton, Michigan. There's a city in Michigan called Trenton.
Okay.
And the doctor told me to get up on the table and he touched my calf and it wouldn't move. So he says, "You got a tear." So I tore completely. It wasn't just a tear, it was a complete tear. And see, when a kid get hurt like that, he needs psychological evaluation.
After
After
Achilles.
he gets hurt. No,
Okay.
it don't matter if you get hurt.
Any kind of hurt.
Any kind of
Okay.
hurt.
Injury.
Where you don't play no more that season.
Oh, when you're out the whole season. Okay.
When you're out
yes,
the whole
yes,
season.
yes.
Because
Right,
see,
right.
you know, when you have aspirations
Sure.
of being a pro,
Yes.
you know, that really messes you up.
Yes.
Now, I as soon as that happens, I call my father, who was a world-class track coach. I said, "Dad, try to get me at Temple." Now, there was something that went on in the summertime where I'm playing at JFK, and there's a guy named Kabubi
Now JFK where?
in Newark.
Okay. The recreation
The
center.
recreation
Yeah, I grew up
center.
right across the street from
Right, we were playing, and
there. Did you know Milton Williams?
yeah, man, he was my coach.
Okay. Yeah, he was a director of JFK.
Okay. Well, anyway, Kabubi was coaching. So Kabubi says, so I'm getting ready to play. Now, I'm the best player on the team. But when we get ready to play, he said, "Sit down." I said, "Sit down?" Okay, I sit down. I said, maybe he's going to put me in the game as the game goes on in the first quarter.
Sure.
First quarter go by, don't put me down. Second quarter go by, don't put me down. I said, well, he played me in the second half. Third quarter come around, don't play. I'm looking at it. Now, most athletes would say, I'm not going to take my shirt off and throw it and say, I ain't playing for you no more.
Sure.
But I just sat there. Now, the fourth quarter comes around. I'm still not playing.
Okay.
So now, what he does is somebody fouls out the game, and he says, well, we're going to the game. I go take my stuff off, go in the game. With about 5 minutes in the game left. What happens is I score 5 points.
At 5 minutes left in the game.
Right.
Go ahead.
I score 5 points. Now, those 5 points won the game for us.
All right.
See? So what it did was it says if you don't leave a team because you're not playing.
Sure.
I say to kids today, I say, it doesn't matter how long you're on the floor. What matters is, what did you do while you was on the floor? Did you contribute to your team winning? See, that's important. So some says to me, Will, in my head, some said, Will, why would you leave a team to go to another team that you got to try out for? You're already on a team.
Sure.
So I went back to the team that I was already on, which was the University of Detroit. Okay. Even though I wasn't playing, but see, I tear my Achilles when I'm getting better, I'm getting stronger, I'm learning how to put the ball on the floor better. Why? Because of a teammate named Dennis Boyd.
Okay.
Me and him was going in the backcourt together.
All
Right? So now, Terry Durod, he was very close to me. I like Terry. Terry and I are the only two ball players on the team that won state championship.
Okay.
So he was more similar to me. He boisterous. He played the game, and this is something that he did to me. I'm gonna get back to that. But he said to me, he said, "You're a one-time wonder." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Terry, but if I never got hurt, you never got off the bench."
Sure.
Okay. And we did just what you're doing right now. Laughed about it. Terry.
That's
died.
kind of like an insult, one-time wonder.
Yeah, one-time wonder. But it didn't insult me.
Right.
Because I came back with, well, if I never got hurt, you never got off the bench.
Sure. Yeah.
See, I believe in my heart, if I never got hurt, we would have won the NCAA.
Yes.
Because we beat the NCAA that in '77. And they turned around and won a state, and they won the national championship.
So you
Marquette.
like at that point you like 20 years old.
21.
Yeah.
I toured at 21.
Okay. So now the gist of this interview is to deal with some coaching up there. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I'm not going to try to take that job.
Okay.
You know, it's really for a young man.
Okay.
Or like my whole idea was Terry Tyler.
Okay.
Terry Tyler played with me at the university. He was the next man that big time player to come to the university. I'm the first, he's the second.
And you want him to have the job?
I said, Terry, take the job. Matter of fact, I talked to him yesterday. I said, Terry, take the job. Right? You got a pension from correction. You got a pension from the NBA. You can live off of those two.
Right.
The money that you get from the University of Detroit, put it away. Put it away.
Yes. Yes.
It becomes.
So how okay in frame of time, how young is Terry to you?
He's 3 years younger.
He's okay.
He's still got a little bit more time.
Okay.
See, I'll be 70 in May.
Okay.
I'm already 70, really.
Very sure. I already count 61. I'm 61 in June. So
Look at that.
I already counted.
You already counted.
All right. Well, why not? 61. Yeah. So, all right. So what?
I love this game.
I see you do. It's your life.
It's my life. Well, you know, after I tore my Achilles, I was downtrodden. I felt bad. I was. It just messed me up.
Mm-hmm.
But I tear my Achilles in June.
Yes.
But I'm back on the floor in November.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
That's too early. I should have waited another year. Now, if I went to Temple, because I asked my father to see if he could give me a Temple. If I went to Temple, I would have been able to sit out, which they don't do nowadays. They have that transfer portal, and I think that's terrible.
What was the transfer portal?
Transfer portal means that I played for the University of Detroit this year. Next year, I played for Eastern Michigan instead of playing for the University of Detroit. Now I don't have to sit out.
Oh, okay.
As long as my grades was right,
Right.
I don't have no problem.
Okay.
So it really hurt me because I wanted to be a professional athlete. But you know, when things don't work out the way it does, I didn't go and say, all right, I'm gonna start selling drugs and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
You know, I got a job working at the boys club. I worked there for a little while. Then they let me. I got married. I got married at 23 years old. Mistake.
Yes. Very young.
Total mistake.
Yeah. Especially for a man with aspiration. In that time frame, 21 was like what, 1983 for you, or?
No, when I was 23.
Yeah, 23.
77.
Okay, yeah. For a young man at that point in Chalmers that had aspirations to go to the pros, had a vision for himself, that would be too young to get married.
Of course.
But for just a guy that's going back and forth to work, that wouldn't.
Right.
At that time frame.
Well, I had to pick and
77,
choose
yeah.
something. And what I picked was I became a longshoreman.
Sure.
And,
That worked out for you.
It did because I'm successful at it. See, I have a pension,
Yes.
which is fair, but it's not like what I was making.
But your heart has always been with the game.
Of course, always. See, Dick told me the other day, he texted me and said, oh, they looking for an experienced coach. Dick, you weren't an experienced head coach when you got the job at the University of Detroit.
Right.
What you did was you got 4 ball players that understood the game.
Sure.
Named Ronnie BASA, Dennis Boyd, Walter Smith, and Wilbur Ross.
Okay.
See? So we had the savvy for that game.
Sure.
I think if Dick had played me more, because you know Dave Bing told him, said you need to play him more. Because see, when I got on the floor, the fans they picked up because I'm running.
So okay, Dick is still involved. Is he's still working?
No. Well, he's with ESPN now.
Okay.
And the reason.
Well, he's a lot older than you.
Oh, he's 84.
Oh wow, and he's still out there working.
Well, no, right now he's sick. He has cancer in the larynx.
Okay.
But we praying to hope that he gets well.
Sure.
We love him.
Cause that's y'all entwined. Y'all like a family.
Right.
Like, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The gentleman that you were just talking to, he and I put a thing where we wish everybody happy birthday.
Sure.
If you have something important to talk about, we put it on that thread.
Yes.
And what happened was, the reason why I did that was because of Terry Durock.
Yes.
Because see, I went out there in 2017, and they retired his jersey.
Right.
And when I saw him, the clothes was dripping off him. And I'm like, what's wrong? Something wrong with him. Not knowing that he had cancer.
Okay.
We didn't know.
Right.
He knew. And he never told us. So my sister calls me up. I'm living in Philly. And she calls me and says, Terry's dead. I'm like, oh no.
Sure.
You know, Walter Smith, he's dead. Them guys were very important in my life.
Sure.
You know, and so we started this thing where we wish everybody happy birthday.
Sure, I think my sister started something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I'm the one who told Richie to start it. See, I'm the leader of that team.
Sure.
I'm the voice.
You know, when people think of Wilbur Ross and York, they think of you like a mayor, like you have such a great personality. But they think that it's just you. I didn't know you had other siblings.
Yeah, I got
You
brothers.
got the brothers and
I got 3 brothers and a sister.
Okay, see, I always thought it was just Wilbur.
But now, if you want to know, I got 12 children
Okay.
and 42 grandkids and 11 great grandkids. See, so I'm blessed in that
Yes,
in
sir.
that
Yes, sir.
in
Yeah.
that sense.
Yes, yes. I think you're blessed all the way around myself.
Of course I am, because you know in 2020 I caught the COVID
Right.
and I spent 63 days on a ventilator.
I talked to you too, because I hadn't
I
heard
don't
from
remember.
you. I hadn't heard from you, and I called you. You was in the hospital. I think I talked to you. Yeah.
But-
Were you in Georgia or
No,
Florida?
I was in Philly,
Okay.
in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Okay.
I remember going in this room, and the whole wall is nothing but glass. They pushed the door slid instead of opening. It slid. So they would slide the door, lock it, and they looking at me like I'm a specimen.
Specimen. Yeah. That's how they were doing that. That was great.
And I'm like, but I had come into the hospital in the triage, and when I got there, I was having problems breathing, so that I had double pneumonia. So I told the girl, I said, the nurse, I said, what you doing in here? I said, you don't even know what this is. I said, go get a mask and put on. So she left out. And on top of that, she was pregnant at that time. The nurse.
Okay.
So,
But she came in there without a mask?
yeah, because nobody knew. Nobody knew what this was. This was something that all of a sudden, it was like a smoke screen, and it just came all over the country.
I remember 2020 wasn't a good year for me
Oh, man.
in terms of that. I didn't get COVID, but I had some celebrations I wanted to do in March. And all the restaurants was closed. Only thing was open was White Castle. And I used to purposely go to White Castle
Get
every
something
week
in.
just to feel like I was going out.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I remember driving on the Parkway.
You lucky.
Driving on the
lucky.
Parkway and selling some weights, driving on the Parkway. I had a lot of weights at home and I was selling them because our gyms was closed. And I was like the only one on the Parkway.
Uh-huh. It was like some of the movies that we
Yes,
used to see.
it was like that movie with Will Smith made with that dog.
Oh, right.
There you go, whatever that name of that movie. I don't know the name of it, but whatever name of that movie, that's what it was. That made me think of that right there. I said, what mountains are we gonna run to?
Well, you know, people were very scared at that.
Yeah.
They and you know, they told me what was going on while I was under,
Yeah.
and I didn't see none of that.
You were a brave man to stay in the hospital. Because I could have had COVID or anything else. I wasn't going to nobody's hospital. No way. No.
Well,
I was scared to death.
Well, what would happen was my daughter, they had called and told me they were going to take me off the respirator and the ventilator.
Ventilator, yeah.
And my daughter said, I don't know, God must have told her to tell him this, that is my father's major organs failing him. And they said, no, he's comfortable. She said, well, he ain't dying.
That's right.
So, you know, that's
Well,
something.
you know, with me, I don't believe that, you know, I think people take people off that respirator too soon. I think,
no good for them.
yeah, I think that, well, if breathing's helping you at the time your body's going through shock, I think you need some time, like 30 days. After 30 days, then I'll consider it. But you can't call me right now and tell me about anybody in my family that's sick or something like that happened and that I should take them off the respirator because I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let them stay on that. If they die, you know, they
What do
die.
you say? They give you like 14 days.
It's
But
going to,
I went 63 days.
Yeah, well, sometimes your body, you need that right there, you know, to get you over that bridge.
I don't
you
know why it happened to me. Because I was healthy. I thought I was healthy.
There you go. So getting back to this coaching thing, because that's what me and you talk about a lot, about this coaching. Let's bridge this in.
Well, this thing didn't just start. This thing started back in 2019.
Okay.
When I went out there. I went out to Detroit and I was talking to the coach. Now, the coach is named Mike Davis.
Mike Davis.
Mike Davis was the coach that took over for Bobby Knight when Bobby Knight was he was let go from Indiana University. I'm not going to say fired. Say let go.
Okay.
And he went to the NCAA 2 years in a row. After that, he has a mediocre season at different schools. I don't even go to the name of the schools that he's at.
Okay.
But of course, he's at the University of Detroit.
Sure.
And I went there and I asked him, did he need some help? You get him some players. But not realizing that he didn't want no help because he thought his son was going to be the one who brought him through.
Okay.
Now, his son is
Scout.
Antoine Davis,
Okay.
the one who tried to break Bishop Beef's record.
Okay.
Now, I told my teammates, I said he ain't gonna break that record. Of course, if he did go over that record,
Sure.
he still didn't do what Bishop Beef did.
Okay.
Bishop Beef went 3 years of college. He didn't have the 3-point line. Okay, so he scored 3,647 points.
Wow.
Now, recently, the girl from Iowa just passed him, scoring. But they still have not been able to break his record.
Sure.
Now, wait a minute. Now, she might be a junior. Clark, that's her name. But Pistol Pete only played 3 years of college.
Sure.
And he did that in 3 years. Now, say if they had the 3-point line, he would have been now he averaged 44 points a game. Just imagine if he was with the 3-point, what it would have been.
Sure.
It would have been like 54 points a game. See, so anyway, he ignored me, and that's now he goes this year 1-31.
Sure.
Unreal. It's the worst record in the history of the NCAA. Now, I thought he wasn't going to go, I thought he was going 0-32. But I went out there in February and I talked to one of the kids. His name is Jalen Stone. He's the leading scorer in the Horizon league. And I told him, I said, win a game for me. And I gave him a sweatsuit. By the time I walked out of the memorial, well, they call it Callahan Hall, he had that thing on and going in the gym showing his boys that he had a new outfit. Because it's a fancy sweatsuit.
Yeah, sure.
And
They
they eventually did win one. But if they didn't win one, I was going out there and telling them, give me my suit back. Good kid. Now, you know, when I went out there, I said to one of the coaches, because I went out there in the summertime at a golf tournament, and I'm riding with one of the assistant coaches. So I say to him, I said, let me ask you something. Where you come from? Where'd you grow up? He said Atlantic City. I said, oh, we played Atlantic City for the state championship. He said, what year? I said 73. He said, I was on that team.
Oh my God. Such bonds and everything that you know.
I was on that team. His name is Donnie Marsh.
Okay.
So we started talking. And
do you have video from back in those days?
yeah, they got some. But so now I'm talking to him, and you know, you got to be loyal to his coach.
Sure.
So, you know, but I know he knows that something ain't right. I know something ain't right. See, so it's at that time last season, they ended up, what was that record? 50 something and 88.
Okay.
So I say he's not gonna win this year. So you know what his record is this now?
What's that?
His record is 60 and 119.
Now, so are they looking to
Yeah, they got
draft?
they got rid of him. He's no longer the coach. You know, they say, oh, it was a mutual. No, because you just had another year on your contract.
Sure.
And I wouldn't pay.
So at this point in challenge, what is it that you want the university to do?
I want them to get a new coach.
A new coach.
A coach that's going to stay, and a coach that's going to benefit the university.
The University of Detroit.
Right. Now, I go out there to see a game.
That's the name of the school,
University of Detroit,
okay.
Mercy.
Mercy, okay.
Now, I go out to a game. If you got 150 people in the gym, it's a lot. Okay,
150 people
In
watching the game.
Watching the game.
Okay.
Now you got a gymnasium
That
holds 8,500.
The gymnasium hold 8,500 people.
Right.
And they only have 150 in there.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a shorter.
So we looking at commerce now.
Sure.
We're looking at when I go talk to the athletic director, he need to go too. I talk to the athletic director.
So okay, are you talking with in a case like this right here that you have this vision for the University of Detroit Mercy College? It's Mercy, is that correct?
I love that
It's Mercy,
school.
is that name Mercy?
Yes, Mercy.
Okay, Mercy. And you love the school. Are you in contact with the dean of the college, or?
This is funny. Hold up. This is funny.
Go ahead.
I go out there and I go to the president's office.
Okay, the president.
Right? So I walk into his office and he's in a meeting with somebody, but he sees me. He says, he comes out of his office and said, "Can I help you?" I said, "You know who I am?" He says, he looks at me, I say, "I'm Wilbur Ross." He said, "Oh, I know that name, right?" So I say, I want that job. I want the head basketball coaching job.
And what did he say?
He said, "We'll talk about it."
All right.
But I know he thinks that I'm just talking, but I'm serious about that.
And how long ago was that when you
That
told
was last year.
Okay, so have you been out there since?
Of course.
Okay. So did it look like you don't get this job?
No. I got a text from Dick,
Okay.
because we text one another.
Sure.
And he says they're looking for an experienced coach.
But Dick is not the one that's
But
doing the
I
hiring.
asked him-
The
I asked him
dean,
for-
I mean the president.
But I asked him for an endorsement.
Yeah, but I understand that right there. But you know what I've learned? Sometimes you need to go right to the president.
source.
Yes,
I
because
did go to him.
So after that, after you told him that you wanted the job, and he said you would talk about it, that you two would talk about it, right?
Then I go out there to a golf tournament. That's when I met Donnie Marsh.
Okay.
And we, after the program was over with, I said, "Give me a job." He said, "I know what job you want." Okay? And he walks away. Okay? But see, me, I look at it like this. If I got the job, we win in the national championship.
Have you talked this over with the president? And who is the president, by the way?
He's hard to get to. Now,
But as you say,
if I go out there, I'm going to meet him. I'm going to talk.
Well,
I don't want the job now.
You don't want it now.
No.
You want to give it to your friend.
I want to get it to somebody that is going to be loyal to the university. Now, me, I think that you should give it to a guy who went to the university.
Sure.
Not-
And
not-
that's your other friend that you're talking about.
Yes, Terry Tyler.
Cherry Tyler.
But Terry, I talked to him yesterday.
Where's Cherry?
Terry is in New
What's that?
Mexico.
Oh wow.
See, he
Quite
took on a
way.
job. He took on a coaching job out there.
Okay.
But I said to him, "Terry, you took a coaching job out there. But see, his wife is sick.
Okay.
So I don't think they want to come
But
back
is
with
there any way, Wilbur, with your experience and your love for the game and your love for the Detroit Mercy College, is there any way that maybe you could be like
an ambassador?
or like a helper to the actual coach or whoever it is?
Right, whoever
Because
gets it.
Whoever gets it. Is
Well,
there any way that they
even
can
though
do that?
I'm not, listen to me, even though I'm not a candidate for the job as coach, I'm still going to support.
Sure, that's what I'm talking about. So is there any way that you can get in, entwined,
Yeah, I can get a
in
job
the
out
loop?
there.
Yeah.
I got a college degree from
Right.
there.
Okay.
See,
Okay. So you
a
graduated.
lot of people don't really understand that.
Right.
I got a degree from the University of Detroit.
Okay. Okay. So that should be some kind of thing. And,
I just was a blue collar worker,
right.
and
You just went into blue collar.
I went into blue
Yeah,
collar,
yeah.
and now I got the degree. I want to be a white collar worker.
Yes. But that's
what my mother and father really wanted me to do.
Well, I could see why your mother and father would want you to do that because they were white collar.
Right.
And given the background of the Black American, they were on what you call the moving on up.
Moving on up.
Right. So they needed you guys to do
The
the
same
same
thing.
thing.
Move
And then
on up.
and then
And
your
my
grandkids and the great grand, you know what I mean? But a lot of times it don't turn out that way.
Right.
And then
I struggled.
as we talked before, years ago when we talked, and I said, well, you grew up middle class, how are you handling things?
Yeah.
Because I know that a lot of people that I knew that grew up middle class, and they
ain't that good now.
and they didn't keep it going.
Right.
Then after mom and daddy, died and shared all the little property and stuff, they have a big headache.
Right.
So the middle class people, and one thing that I learned about this nation, the hardest thing to raise is that second generation, no matter what your color is.
Yeah, because you got people who live up in Livingston. The kids is coming down here buying the drugs.
Well, yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, things like that right there. Yes.
That's one of the main reasons.
Or that they don't go for higher education. If mother and daddy had higher education, you need to get it, because where you living at with them, right? You need to add to it, not subtract. See, so you wouldn't want to leave there, right?
And be a bum.
Not so much.
No
bum, but then if you don't keep that momentum up, then you got to start where maybe your great grandmother started at. You understand me? See, you go back.
Uh-huh.
See, okay, if mother and father got you and they both professional, right? And this is what I've been trying to get to my community, but I find that it faces all the communities, is that if your mother and father, right, are professional, right? So basically you're gonna live a middle class life. All right. Now, if you don't add to that, right, bunny hop, that's the kids you on the bike, bunny hop. If you don't bunny hop, jump over top of that, then what happens is that you go back. So when you get married, kids, now you way down here. Now you ain't used to living down here like that.
I was poor.
Right, you're not used to that.
Even though I was making money, I was poor.
But you're not used to that because you come from a middle class background.
Right.
So you're going to have a great headache.
And that's what I
had.
had.
When Christmas is not like Christmas was.
No. No.
You understand me?
Now, I couldn't even afford all my kids.
That's what I'm talking about. See? But your mother and father didn't have that problem with you guys.
Now, see, the thing with Dick,
let's get this. I want to talk there. Your mother and father didn't have that problem with you guys.
No.
All right. So now go ahead with Dick.
Well, I said some things about Dick, and one time I was having my basketball tournament. In Weequahic Park.
All right.
Which was very successful.
Right.
And I said to Dick, come to New Jersey and show your face at the basketball tournament. And he said to me, I don't travel unless I'm being paid.
Okay.
Now, I would have got some money and paid him.
Sure.
Okay?
Okay.
But that showed me that he wasn't loyal to me like I was loyal to him.
Sure.
Because when he got the job at when he was inducted into the Nesbitt Hall of Fame.
Sure.
Me and my son went up there.
Okay.
When he got when they put his name on the floor.
Sure. Yeah, I
was there.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm very supportive of him.
Sure.
Because I talk about him all the time.
Sure.
He's one of the reasons when I talk to somebody, I take my phone out and show pictures of me and him together.
Sure.
See, so it ain't. I'm a supporter of him.
Sure.
And I think that in turn should be the same way.
Sure.
Because when I asked him to come to Jersey, he said he'd come. You know what I said to him? I said, "You forget who made you rich and famous."
Sure. Okay.
Oh well, you're not being fair. Yes, I am being fair.
I would like to see you somehow a part of that Detroit Mercy College in some capacity, because your love is for them. I would like to visit when you do that. I think
I could be a dean of development.
You can be something that can, you could give
of that basketball team.
Yes.
Now I went out there. When I went out there in February, I went into the locker room, and the locker room was filthy. And the kids is in there. They're taking their clothes off, throwing it on the floor, right in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
We didn't do that when we was in school. What happened? We had a barrel. We throw our stuff in it. We had a pen.
Sure.
We put all our stuff on that pen, throw it in the barrel, so we knew where our stuff was.
Sure.
These kids, filthy. So when I went into the locker room and I said, clean this damn locker room up now. I see why y'all not winning.
Sure.
No discipline.
That's right.
No pride.
Yeah.
No pride in yourself.
That's right.
So, you know, I call up Donnie. I say, Donnie, do you know these kids? Because they come out of the portal.
Yeah.
He says,
When you
some
say
of
portal,
them.
what do you
The transfer portal.
Okay.
I said, do you know these kids? He said, some of them. I said, me, if I was the coach, I go to their rooms, I go to their apartments to see how they living.
Sure.
That's important.
Sure.
That's an important thing. So, you know.
Well, you kind of know, if it was a pie, you know all the ingredients.
I know.
And
matter of fact, I'm cooking right now.
Right. Where a good many people today buy their pie store-bought off the shelf.
Right.
But you know the ingredients. So I think that you would be a great asset to Detroit Mercy College.
I think so.
And so as we conclude here, and is there anything you want to say to anybody at this point right now?
Well, I just want to say that, I'm a supporter of Dickie V. I'm a supporter of the University of Detroit.
All right.
When I talk about things, I'm not just talking and making up things. I'm talking real life and the truth.
Okay. All right. Again, this is Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. Goodbye.